Welcome to episode 40 of the Mile 62 podcast. I'm Richard Elkins coming to you from Austin, Texas. Nice weather here today. Been running every day. Just kind of update on my fitness. I've been started my 10K a day streak 9 days ago, and it's going pretty well. I had one day I hiked 10K because I had taken the vaccine, the Pfizer vaccine. But I'm planning on see how long I can do it. I mean, it's not uncommon for me to run 10K a day, but my streak is no rest days and no rest days before race and after, so no tapering. And if I have to hike a few days after a race, I'll do it. But I want to put a new stimulus on my body and really push myself to maintain 10K a day. I'm 1 week out from the Hells Hills 50K. I was going to do the 50 mile, but I dropped down to the 50K. I just want to take it easy because I'm planning on doing 2 ultras in April. So I might be doing the Pandora Box of Rocks 3rd week of April. And then going into May, I'm going to do Spider Mountain, which is a 12-hour mountain climbing event at night. So pretty excited. My fitness is good. I feel good. I'd like to drop some pounds, and I think this new stimulus of running 10K a day and is going to help. I can already feel my body changing a little bit because I'm really pushing myself because I'm still weightlifting every day, and I'll use my Echo bike, which is a really intense workout, a few days a week, and also my ski trainer, Nordic ski trainer, which is Concept 2 Ski RG or Ski Erg as some people call it. I do that a few nights a week too. Actually more than that, probably 3 or 4 nights a week. I just alter the time. Sometimes I'll do 10 minutes, sometimes I'll do 20 minutes, which equates to about 2 miles worth of skiing. It's a really good workout, upper body workout. Well, today's podcast is a shoe review. I'm going to compare the Mach Hoka Oni Mach 4 versus the Clifton 7. A little bit of history on the Clifton. I've been using the Clifton since Model 4, so several years now, and very happy with the shoe. You're probably wondering, well, you're a trail runner. Why are you using road shoes? Actually, I do a lot of my training on the roads, and the route that I've got near my house, it's about 7 miles, but probably half of it's on the road getting to the trails, and then the trails are very smooth, pea gravel, so I'm able to use road shoes on my trail also. So I spend a lot of time in road shoes. It's kind of unique because I use Hoka, which, has at least 5 millimeters drop, and then when I race, I use 0 drop shoes. I use Ultra. It works real well for me, and I think it helps me prevent injury. Try to rotate shoes as much as I can. Alternate shoes as much as I can. Well, let's get into it. The Mach 4, Hoka Oni just released the Mach 4, and it's been getting a lot of attention on the media, and that's how I found out about it. I never used the Mach 3 or previous versions, but I was watching Seth DeMoore's YouTube podcast, YouTube video. He has a blog every day, and if you don't watch Seth's channel, I highly suggest it. It's great. He is mostly focused on road running and mountain. He does some mountain running, like he won Pikes Peak, but just a great athlete based in Colorado. But he has a new video every day, and he has a lot of shoe reviews, and people were calling in excited about getting their Mach 4s, and he highly rated the shoe. So I wanted to check it out. Well, the Mach 4. It's a neutral shoe, just like most of Hoka's running road shoes. It's got a 5 millimeter drop. The weight, I think about size 9, is 8.6 ounces. It's funny. I went online with Hoka and chatted with them. I was trying to ask them what size of men's shoes weighs 8.6 ounces, and they couldn't tell me. So I think I stumped them. But I know when Seth does shoe reviews, most of the time his weights are either 7.5, which is what he wears, or he'll say it's for a size 9 shoe. So I think that's pretty much industry standard. It's an everyday trainer. What's unique about the Mach 4, it's a blend of two different foams. So it's got what they call a ProFly midsole and a lightweight rubberized outsole. And the way that differs from the Clifton is the Clifton is using a hard, full compression EVA midsole. EVA is just a fancy word for the foam that's used in the shoe, in the midsole. Both shoes have a TPU upper most people just say engineered mesh. It's a hard press engineered mesh shoe which breathes very well. So both shoes very similar in that. The nice thing about the Mach 4 compared to the Clifton is, and I've complained about this, to myself about Clifton, is it seems like it's getting a little bit more narrow. A lot of Hoka shoes like the Speed Goat and others I can't wear, but they're just too narrow. And I started using the Clifton because it fit just right. It probably could use a little more room for me, but it's not causing me any problems. Well, on 6 and 7, Clifton 6 and 7, they seem to be getting a little bit more narrow. I can still wear them okay, and after a few runs, they feel fine. But when I first put my first run in them, I'm going through them about every 300-400 miles, they feel a little tight in the beginning, but after that, they feel comfortable. Well, the Mach 4 right out of the gate felt fine. I think it has a little bit more room in the forefoot, which is really important to me. And it's got a very responsive foam. It's almost got like a spring to it. It's almost like their Carbon X shoe. A lot of people say it's modeled a little bit after that. It's got an extended heel, what they call swallowtail construction. It's supposed to give smooth impact. For me, it looks a lot like the Clifton Edge. I haven't bought the Clifton Edge, but Clifton Edge also has that swallowtail construction. I'm not sure if I've seen much benefit out of it, but I mean, I have no issue with it. Both shoes have early stage meta rockers for smooth transition and stride, give you that spring. But one thing that the Clifton 7 has done and the Mach 4 has done is they have this new heel tab. It's basically the collar of the shoe around your ankle, and it rides up your ankle a little bit higher. They say, Hoka is saying that it prevents pressure on the Achilles. That's the only thing in this shoe I don't like. And the Clifton has the same thing, because for me, it's a rock catcher because it doesn't snug to the heel. Most Hokas are very good about being snug in the heel area. So when you're running on trails or roads that have pea gravel, you don't pick it up. That's one bad thing about Ultra, and I think that's maybe one of the reasons that Ultra has their good gaiter system. Now, I use gaiters during racing, but I don't when I'm doing daily runs. And I know there's a difference because when I run in my Ultras in my neighborhood, I pick up rocks. And most of my Hokas, I have not. But with the Mach 4 and the Clifton 7, I do every once in a while I'll get a couple rocks in the shoe. And I think it's because of that new heel tab design. So maybe it has some benefits for the Achilles. I've never had an Achilles issue in my whole life. Knock on wood, hopefully never. 30 years of running, I've never had an issue. But that's the only thing I really don't like about the shoe. Both shoes, about $130, very reasonable. And both shoes sell very well. Clifton is number one Hoka shoe by far. Nothing even gets close to it in sales. I think the Mach 4 is a really good challenger for it. It just came up. So anyways, my vote, I have both shoes. I use both shoes, but I really am enjoying the Mach 4, and I'm putting a lot more miles in the Mach 4. I think it's a great shoe, and I plan to buy more of it. I may stop buying a Clifton. Just got a new pair of Clifton 7s, and they're good shoe. But if the Mach 4 continues to feel so good on my feet and cause me no problems, I'm just going to stick with it. I'll buy my next rotation buy was going to be with the Mach 4. So that's it. Mach 4 versus Clifton 7, both great shoes, but if you're going to go out and buy a new Hoka, I highly suggest try the Mach 4. I think you'll like it. I wanted to go over some general shoe terms. I got this idea from All Things Trail Running YouTube channel. If you don't subscribe to his channel, I highly suggest do it. He has a lot of great videos. But I wanted to go over some shoe terms. I got some from his video, and then also added some of my own. What does drop mean? I mentioned it before in my shoe review. Drop is the measurement in millimeters from the heel of the shoe to the toe. So Ultra, for example, has 0 drop. Some Topo shoes have 0 drop, but most shoes have a pretty high drop, especially like Hoka can be 5 millimeters and larger. Stack height, some people get drop and stack height confused. The stack height is the height of the sole of the shoe in millimeters. So it's just straight up measurement. Outsole, it's the rubber on the bottom of the shoe, the traction of the shoe. Sometimes people say, well, it's got the Vibram outsole. That's the material that's used in the outsole. Insole, pulls, comes out, adjustable insert. Sometimes people use custom orthotics. That's what you can pull out of the shoe and clean after a race. I typically pull them out, spray them down. When I clean my shoes, I use a high pressure garden hose, and then I let them air dry outside. Never put your shoes in the washer or the dryer. But I pull the insoles out and I let them dry on their own. That works real well for me. And I found that you want to clean your shoes the same day you come back from the race, because if they sit, the dirt will actually stain the shoes if it dries too long in the shoe. I don't know why, but that's just the way it works. Clean them the same day, you won't have any problem. The midsole, that's the cushion, which usually is a type of foam like I mentioned earlier, EVA. It has a direct relationship to the life of the shoe. Some new shoes out there, the outsole is actually made of EVA. It's just and so those are not going to last as long as something that's got a Vibram outsole, for example. Rock plates, you hear about these all the time. It's a kind of a thick plastic under the in the sole to protect you from rocks. It's real important to have a rock plate in a trail shoe, especially if it doesn't have much stack height, because you're gonna be very vulnerable to sharp rocks. For me, when I'm trail racing, especially in Texas, we sometimes laugh and call it a rock garden. There's a lot of rocks, and your shoe can turn, and you can be pinched from the side. So I tend to, when I race, I use big, very high stack height shoes, such as the Ultra Olympus. If you're going to wear something like a Lone Peak or something that doesn't have much stack height, you're more vulnerable to the rocks. So it's very important to have a good rock plate. Wide toe box versus narrow toe box. Topo Ultras have wide toe box. Narrow shoes like Salomon, Innovux, some Hokas, but like Salomon is a good example. Salomon makes an excellent shoe, but I've never worn one in my life because you have to have a narrow foot. And I've tried them on several times, and a lot of the European shoes are that way. They're very narrow. Great shoes, but I just can't wear them. The upper, that's the top part that wraps around the foot, usually engineered mesh. Sometimes it can have like a Gore-Tex top. I have some Ultra RSWs, which are rain, sleet, mud shoes. So they have different types of uppers, but I like ones that breathe well but are not too soft. Some Ultra shoes like the Escalante, a road shoe, the upper is too soft. I have some, they feel great, but I'm constantly thinking that I'm going to roll my foot and sprain my foot because the upper just doesn't grab the foot and keep it in place as well as it should. I like to have an upper that's kind of strong, but not too strong where it's going to rub you raw in some areas. Some shoes have gaiter systems, which means that there's 3-point, 4-point gaiter system. That means when you put a gaiter to protect the dirt or rocks from getting in your shoes, it'll have a system that you can snap it to the shoe. Ultra has a great system. But some shoes like Hoka, you have to actually attach Velcro. So you gotta, some shoes have pluses and minuses. Ultra has a great gaiter system. Hoka does not. But there are some third parties out there that provide gaiters, which people use all the time. It's no problem. Some other terms, race terms, cutoff time. Some people have asked me what that means. That's the time you must arrive to an aid station or you must quit the race. So usually aid stations will have a cutoff time, and then there's usually a cutoff time for the race ending. So it's quite important. So that's it for terms that I wanted to go over. Some other things I wanted to talk about. Actually, just one more issue. I want to talk about the Barkley marathons. Just took place last week. Usually it's a little bit later in the year, and Barkley's been going on for a long time, 30, 40 plus years, and only 15 people have finished the Barkley. In the last few years, they had no finishers, and last year it was canceled because of COVID, and this year it was last week. I think it was started on a Thursday morning, and the weather was real bad. Nobody made it past the third loop, which they call the fun run. Most people were out in the second loop. So you got to make it through all 5 loops within 60 hours. Nobody did it this year. But the reason I want to talk about the Barkley is not so much what happened at the Barkley. I don't usually cover other races that I don't participate in. But the Barkley kind of snubbed one of the YouTubers out there. His name's Ultra Trail Steven. I heard about the story from Ultra Dad. He's got a YouTube channel. You got Ultra Trail Steven. He's got a YouTube channel. Well, Ultra Trail Steven is local to Tennessee. He went out and he went out to the Frozen Head Park and was doing some filming just on the public trails. And as we all know, Barkley's very secretive. They don't, Laz, the race director, likes to control everything. Well, this guy just went out there and took some footage on the public trails of some of the pros coming in. Didn't do anything wrong. Anyways, the Barkley team was very unpleasant with the guy. Basically, raised so much hell with him that he had to pull his video down off of YouTube. And I think that's really wrong. He wasn't doing anything wrong, and the footage that he did, I actually saw it before it was pulled down. I found out it was pulled down a week after I saw it because I was following a lot of the Barkley videos or updates online, and it was real pleasant. I mean, he just said hi to some of the pros and was filming some trails that anyone can go on. Most of the Barkley is on unmarked trails, and understandably, you shouldn't go out and film those areas. But in previous years, those areas had been filmed by one big race director and participant of the Barkley. And I was listening to his podcast, and he said that the rules change, and I understand that and all that. But what's unfortunate is nobody's standing up for. I should say nobody. I'm standing up for him, and so did Ultra Dad and several other podcasters and YouTubers standing up for Ultra Trail Steven. But none of the big guys are, and the reason that upsets me because, the reason they're not doing it is because they're in the race or they filmed at the race before. They have too much invested in or related to this race. It's one of the big famous races now in the ultra trail world. It's got a lot of mystery around it and stuff like that. But you got companies out there like Netflix, and this year HBO was out there filming. This guy, which is local, Steven, just shows up and just trying to have fun and post something on his YouTube channel. I can relate a lot because I know guys like him and Ultra Dad and others that we don't have a lot of viewers, but we do it because we like to do it. I mean, I do my podcast, and most of the time it's a blog. I don't interview people that often. I've started to interview more people recently, But I don't interview the pros, which would get me, more likes or more views. I do what I want to do. It's kind of like the Yeti trail director, race director always says. He doesn't give a shit. I don't either. I just do what I want to do to have fun. I'm not trying to make money doing it. And kind of the same thing was happening to me when I first got into podcasting about a year ago. Before that, I religiously listened to all the big podcasts, mostly on the West Coast, one big one from Colorado. And I was even a Patreon supporter. I paid money every month, $1, $2 to these podcasts. I was in their Facebook groups and all that. And then I decided to do my own podcast for fun. And I pretty much got banished from many of the Facebook groups. And I was actually paying money to them. That really kind of upset me. It didn't upset me, it just angered me. So I quit Patreon with all podcasts. I don't pay money for anybody anymore. And I can kind of relate to what happened in this Barkley situation, because it's the big guys not supporting the little guys. And, it's kind of elitism. They're trying to cancel this guy. And I think that's bullshit. So, I don't know. That's my 2 cents. I think he should have been able to keep his video up. He didn't post any secrets. He didn't film out on the course that's off the trails. The Barkley is mostly off trail. And the participants of the Barkley cannot even train on those on the course that they know. They know it because it's the same every year unless somebody finishes it. Then the course changes. So these guys are not allowed to train on those off-trail. When I say off-trail, it means when you go to Frozen Head State Park, they have public trails which are marked. There might be some overlap on those, but most of the race is off-trail. This guy, Steven, was filming on public trails. So he did nothing wrong. And he should not have been pressured to take his video down. I think that's so wrong. And I hope some of these big race directors and YouTubers, there are a few that we haven't heard from. I hope some of them will stand up for him. But I don't care. I'm going to stand up for him. I think it was wrong. And, my respect for the Barkley has gone down a few levels. So, no one should be treated that way. Anybody can film anything they want. If it was on private land or something like that, I understand, but it's not. It's at a state park, and he was on the public trails filming. So, the race director gets bent out of shape because he didn't get permission. Sorry. He can film anything he wants, It's a state park, public trails. Anyways. But I think that's unfortunate, and I hope that doesn't go on in the ultra community anymore, because everyone's been friendly and inclusive. But to get this smaller YouTuber canceled on his video by pressuring him, I think that's bullshit. Because I can relate, because I'm a small podcaster compared to a lot of the big podcasters, and I'd get angry if somebody did that to me. So, anyways. That's my 2 cents about the Barkley snub, as I call it. And you can, if you want to learn more about it, you can go on YouTube and check out Ultra Trail Steven's channel or Ultra Dad, and you can find out all the background on what went on. But I thought it was very disappointing to hear about. Anyways, to leave on a positive note, I'm going to do some more interviews and planning to interview one of my friends in Australia on Sunday. Today's Saturday. And so we got an interview coming up, and also I have a race next weekend, so I'll give the rundown on the Hells Hill 50K in about a week. And hope everyone has the rest of your weekend is great. Do some running, whatever you like to do, and enjoy the trails. Till next time, signing off for now. Take care. Bye-bye.